Welcome to episode 41 of Let's Talk Money with Wendy Silibi. Well, today my guest is none other than a gentleman who is an author, a podcaster, a master NLP. What do you mean, NPL or NLP? It always confuses me. NLP trainer, a mover, a shaker, Ntando. Welcome, Ntando, to the podcast.
Welcome. I hope you are well.
I'm
happy to be
very
here.
well. I'm very well. Well, and Ntando is an author, and here is his book. I like the title of the book, Welcome to Financial Freedom. Get in the game and play to win. It means that financial freedom is a game. And so you need to gear yourself up to play and to win. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, Ntando, I mean, just from the title of the book, right? I just want you to tell us and the people that are watching, Uguti, is it possible, Uguti, if you go down, the pathway of losing it all, can you rise like the phoenix?
It sounds nice.
And make it.
It sounds like a movie where you say rise like the phoenix.
Rise. I mean, when you lose it all, I was reading your book, right?
Yeah.
And in there you have a story of a lady who was doing very well and had a small business.
And she lost everything.
And I mean, that's what I'm talking about, Uguti. Somebody that's watching us might have lost everything and they're sitting there despondent. Are you able to rise from the ashes?
I think something like that brings me to a conversation I was having with some people we were talking about saving, and they're not earning a lot. And they said saving is impossible. And my answer to them was, it's always impossible until you hang around someone who's done it earning less than what you're earning. And until you meet Ntando, for example, who lost more probably than you've lost, who got depressed 5 years, clinically depressed, ended up distressed, disillusioned, divorced, until you meet someone like that and see what happened 10 years later to the podcast that you probably watch and the financial independence and the books, until you've seen it with your eyes, it feels impossible. But for me, because I've done it and I did it not knowing it would even work, for me it was just, I need to survive, and I need to do whatever I can to be able to survive. Going beyond that stage of, I've lost everything now, this is what I'm doing to survive, and learning and getting coached and getting mentored to seeing, wow, it worked, and then later, wow, it worked this well. It introduced me, especially with the podcast as well, to a lot of other people who did the same thing. I was talking to Jabu recently, and I didn't know that he's this big influencer that people know and respect, but he started over at 39. And the lady in the book, she lost everything. Actually, everything was including her retirement money, because when she left to do business, she started business with money from the retirement package. And that whole entire investment was gone. And her husband was not employed at the time. So I have seen with my eyes people lose everything. Go through the pain, go through the difficulty of starting over and build something. Actually, all the examples I'm citing, what they've built is much bigger than what they lost.
Wow, you've said so much. I don't even know, Guti, where must I pick up, But, I mean, if we just go back to the episode that I did, Nospiwe,
Yeah.
we spoke about the dangers of actually taking your retirement funds and starting something. Okay, when you look at the lady that's in the book that you talk about, they were already running something small, but they wanted to grow, to expand. But I think they miscalculated quite a number of things, and then in the end, I mean, she says, she never thought that someone could lose 1 million in less than
A year.
6 months. In less than a year. When I read that, I went stone cold, because 1 million is somebody else's pension money. So, as I was reading and as you are talking, I'm just reminded, and just to say, it is not a good idea to start a business or to even expand your business.
So what you're talking to, Ma, is what drives us to losing everything in
Yeah.
the first place.
Yeah.
Now, for many people, there are many reasons, but one of the biggest ones is we overestimate, or because we are overconfident, we taste success, become overconfident, and we believe we can grow much faster than we're growing right now. So that overconfidence allows us, then gives us a license to take risks that are not necessary, risks that are not well calculated, risks that are ill-informed. For them, someone lost a pension and I got called for a business rescue. This is someone who lost even more than that. I think it was over 3 million that they invested, and they lost that business. It collapsed. But when I got called to help them because they needed to recover at least something out of it, my first question was, you retired, you took all your pension, you invested in business. In your entire life, had you ever tried a side hustle, business and stuff? And the answer, what the answer was, never. So when there was everything at stake, because there was this money, you had the confidence to believe that business is the way and you can pull it off. So the money gave him the confidence that I could do it, but he ignored the fact that he had worked for over 50 years, 40 years, and never tried business before, which is like the hardest career. But that overconfidence, for me, it looked like trusting a team and partners and just miscalculating your faith in people.
Yeah.
That people can steal. People can stab you in the back, right? Customers can close their business and you are left hanging. So sometimes behind our biggest disasters is overconfidence and unnecessary risk.
Yeah. Overconfidence and unnecessary risk. Yabona mina, I'm very risk averse. Actually, yesterday we have a family group, and every weekend we alternate to go to who is buying take
Okay.
away. And they were asking in the group who's buying takeaway. So my daughter says, no, it's not me, because Mina, she says, I'll buy even though I'm not employed. And then my son responds and says, woo, your mother's favorite line, because Mina, I'm not taking any risks. I want everybody to know, Uguti, I'm retired. I don't have money. I'm not taking any risk. I'm not overconfident about anything. When I was employed, I could take risks, but not anymore. So this is just a lesson anyway for someone who's about to go on retirement, or who is thinking of resigning and taking all their money to start something.
Yeah, it's good that you stopped there as well.
Yeah.
I think it becomes a good reminder for someone
Yeah.
who's in that season, or for someone who's winning right now.
Yeah.
To say, don't allow it to make you so overconfident to not realize that things can go wrong. And then you don't have savings, and then you don't have any investments. There are people that have earned crazy amounts of money. They could have invested and built an amazing asset base, but they never started, because that same overconfidence says, I'm going to earn more money next month anyway. I don't need to save. I don't need to invest. I don't need to do anything disciplined with my money. That's the overconfidence I'm talking about. And when it caught me, I had years in a really amazing business, earning a lot. And all I had in my savings at the time was like 150K. And if I reflect back on what I was earning and how the business was doing and how long I was earning that much, I could have had 1 million invested, and I didn't. Just the overconfidence of saying, I'm good at earning money, it's going to come anyway next month, so I can spend it anyhow.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good reminder.
It is a good reminder. Okay, say I am there right now, I'm overconfident, or I have lost everything. What are some of the principles, financial principles, that you can share with someone that is there right now to say, these are the 3 or 4 things you should be putting in place to prevent you crashing or to prevent you continuing in this overconfidence and then finding yourself in a place you don't want to be at?
All right. So in the book, I talk about the 3 main drivers
Yeah.
of just financial independence, the 3 core levers. I say 5 in the book because
Yeah.
the other 2 are supporting pillars to these main 3.
Yeah.
And I always say they are not rocket science. It's something that everyone knows, but you know in your mind, but not practically. Kind of like saving. Many people know it in their mind that there is something called saving, but it never translates to something that they do in their lives. So you ask how much you earn, how much you save. They know that you are supposed to save, it's a good thing, but it never happens, right? So the 3 are you need to get good at earning money, and at any stage in your life, you've got an earning capacity. You just have to track how much you've been earning for the past 6 months. You kind of track where you are. That I am good at making 5,000 rands per month, for example. So I know how to wake up, do certain things, and I'll get to 5,000 by the end of the month. In terms of earning capacity, that's what you are at. Now, if you don't learn how to increase that, you make every other thing that I'll talk about very difficult to do. So that's the baseline. If you look at how much you're earning right now, you need to ask yourself, in 5 years' time, where do I need to be in terms of what I'm earning? And there is qualifications you can get, there is skills you can learn, there is relationships you can introduce and unlock value from. There's a lot of work you can do that can increase your earning potential. And it starts there, because if you lose everything, when I lost everything, it got to a stage where I was earning nothing, and I was talking to my mentor, and he said, you lost your business, you lost your money, you never lost your skills, you never lost your qualifications, you never lost your brain. Why haven't you started over, right? And what it said to me was, I have enough to earn something. Why am I not using it to earn something, right? That's step 1.
Yeah.
Go out in the market and earn. But beyond that, I was averaging about 10,000 rands a month. And even though it was working because my bills were low, I needed to make a lot more than that, because you want financial independence, right? Staying there is not going to give you financial independence. So now I had to create new relationships. I had to learn a couple of things. I went back and finished my MBA during that phase as well. Funny what 10,000 can do, eh?
Yeah.
If you are using it nicely.
Yeah, Ntando, before you carry on, I
Yeah.
mean, I want to encourage someone that's watching to
Yeah.
say, just because you've lost everything, it's not the end of the world. It's not the time for you to think of suicide, to think of ending it all, because that's the next thing that people think about. You haven't lost everything. You haven't lost your skills. You haven't lost your brain. My goodness, that is power right there. You know, you can still think. You still have hands. You can still do something. And you still have people around you. I love the fact that you had a mentor. You had somebody that you could speak to. And you know, yesterday I was listening. You know, I went to the Val Youth Empowerment, and it's in your book as well. And Dr. Ramano was talking about how your relationships, you know, your networks are your net
Net worth.
worth. Yes. So the people that you have around you can also help you, you know, financially to grow, because the wisdom, their wisdom together with your wisdom, will take you to the next level.
If you didn't burn those bridges. That's important.
Yes. Yeah, because in your depressed state, you can throw everybody away. Okay, carry on.
I love it. So the whole idea here is you are at a certain level in terms of earning, and you need to earn more.
Yeah.
And anyone that I talk to who says, but I'm earning this much, it's hard to save, it's hard to do all these tactical things that financial advisors are talking about. I always say, yes, you're right. You're not earning enough, so earn more. So
Yeah.
our homework becomes go work on earning a little bit more.
Yeah.
It looks different for different people. For some, it's get a side hustle. For others, do something online. For others, you've got these relationships, unlock some value, go be valuable to them. For others, get a job, right? Others become a freelancer. The opportunity to earn looks different for different people, but you always have to have in mind the fact that I'm earning this much. In 5 years' time, how can I double that?
Right.
In 10 years' time, how can I way more than double that?
Yeah.
Now, the second thing, it doesn't matter how much money we give you or how much money you earn, you will get used to it. You will get comfortable with it. And your bills will rise to what you're earning. That's the baseline for many people. That's how we operate. So the second one is learn and master how to manage the money that you have. Allocate it efficiently. And it falls apart there for many people, which is why you find that someone earns 10,000 rands a month, and then in a year or two, they get a breakthrough, they earn 20,000. And you know what they do? They're finishing off the 10 every month. When they get to 20, they spend the whole 20 every month. They get another breakthrough, they get to 50. If you talk to them, do you have anything saved? No. What they master is how to blow the whole 50. So many people are living their lives like that, and they're not allocating their money efficiently for growth and development. Jack Ma put it nicely. He said, when he was talking to Americans, the reasons why you guys, a lot of you struggle financially is you're good at eating tomorrow's money today.
Yeah.
Because not all the money you earn is today's money. It's not for today to spend. Others put it differently. They say any money that you earn, there's seed in there. There's seed and there's harvest.
Yeah.
A lot of people confuse that. All the money they earn is just harvest, which means I'm going to blow all of it. There is nothing that speaks to I'm going to allocate this to learning a skill, to paying for a qualification. I'm going to allocate this to saving, to investing. There's nothing that says that in how you allocate whatever it is you're earning. And as long as that's how you allocate your money or how you manage your money, if it's not efficient, you're always on the back foot each month that comes. And that's how many people live their lives.
Yeah.
So that's the second area to fix.
Before you move there, I want us to make it very practical, because in your book you break it down nicely.
Yeah.
You break it into 60, 10, 10, 10, 10. You know, in my book I break it into 70, 10, 10, 10. So just let's make it practical. So according to what you have,
allocating efficiency. I always say that the percentages are an example for the book. They look different depending on how your life circumstances. But the things that you should be having. Now, when you earn money, there's money that's going to go to your bills. That is guaranteed. You've got rent, you've got school fees to pay and stuff. So ideally, if let's say that starts at 50 or 60% of your income, what you need to look at is, number one, as I increase, step one, increase how much I'm earning. Over time, my bills should be paid by 20% of my earnings.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Increasing your earnings so that your lifestyle is being financed by 30, 40%. Over time, the percentage of your earnings should be going down. That's how you know you're making good progress.
Right.
Now, the other part is a lot of us have got blind spots on where our money should be going beyond the bills. And one is personal development and growth. Putting away money that you know this is going to help me grow. Spending money on developing yourself. Spending money on developing your personal brand. Spending money on developing your skills, your qualifications. You can save money towards those kind of goals.
Right.
Many people don't have money to go to seminars, to buy books and stuff, because everything has gone to bills and entertainment. Now, another one becomes the entertainment, the fun and play, because I always say that is important. You need to feel, how you feel you're making progress is, you know, you can take care of yourself, right? You know, you've got some money to go have fun. Now, other people, because they don't save money for that fun and play and just to enjoy themselves and feel you enjoy the fruit of your labor, right? Because they don't save for that, a holiday opportunity comes, they get into debt to get into that holiday. And because it's a sport decision, they get into expensive debt. And now they begin a debt spiral equation that is just hard and difficult to get out of, right? So it's important for what it does to you, and it's also important so that you don't get in trouble for doing something that is good for your family. Now we have three, right?
Yeah.
We have the personal development, we've got the fun and play, the power ones now. You need to save for savings. You need to allocate money to your savings and allocate money to your investments. Now, the investment one, why I love it so much is I got taught by Harv Eker. He's one of the biggest trainers in the space. And he gave me a distinction I never thought of. He said, when you allocate 10% of what you're earning to investments, which is the pay yourself first principle that others share, he says the thing that many people don't tell you is that money you should never, ever, ever touch until you die. So once it's gone, it's gone. It goes to building assets. If you are buying stocks, I'll use stocks as an example. That money goes so that those stocks can give you passive income later. And your goal is to eat passive income, which is the children of your investments, right? So over time, you're increasing your investment or your asset base so that that investment per year pays you a certain amount and you can live off that amount.
Right.
So your goal is always, how much passive income am I earning from my investments? Most people look at how much do I have invested, and the temptation comes because you're looking at, there's 800 here and now I need a car, and then you come for the investment. So it's that principle of the golden goose.
Yeah.
And many people end up going for the golden goose because they want the golden eggs too fast. So allocating money to investment becomes that for me now, putting money away every month so that it builds an asset base that's going to be paying you, and you focus on how much your investments are paying you now. And that's where you earn from. And it's beautiful because that is a legacy that you can pass on. You can put it in a will that this is the asset base and kids can earn. Now that asset base for me is always mainly stocks, but you can add property, you can add business, you can add many other investments. There are many investment classes.
Yeah.
But the journey begins when you start putting away at least the 10% that is recommended by everyone towards investment.
And the sooner you start, the better.
You ideally want to start now.
Yeah.
From the next amount that you get paid.
Yeah.
Now, what makes this hard for many people is knowing that I've got debts. Life is hard for me now. I get your principles, but right now my reality is I'm drowning, and I'm drowning in debt. And we always say, if you're starting there, the priority is not to be looking at investment, because your investments typically are earning you 8 to 12%.
Yeah.
Your debt is charging you about 20%.
31%,
You see.
33% if it's a personal loan.
So so you see, so it doesn't make sense to be looking at investments unless you're going to look at a very small percentage so that you feel good that you've started and understand the markets. But you prioritize fighting your debt, give yourself timelines on how long you're going to be debt free, and then you move on to the other levers. So people are starting this in different seasons.
Right.
But if you are in that debt season, debt is your number one enemy. That's the first mountain to climb. But if you are neutral or the debt is not a lot, you need to start investing now. It shocked me to realize that if I had invested like $1,000 a month and increased by 8% in basic stocks, like I'm talking minimum growth of 8-9%, 20 years there's $1 million that you can withdraw tax free, and I thought, okay, I have ruined my life.
Yeah.
Because when you've lost everything and you realize I've earned money for almost 15 years and 1,000 rands is nothing. At the time I could have even put away a lot more.
Yeah.
But when I learned the lesson, And I started getting into these investment houses and getting into the financial products. I put away, I think I started putting away 1,005, which was hard. And the temptation to go for it was very high. But over time, I realized you get used to putting it away and surviving on what's left. And then I increased, and then I increased, and then I increased. And the biggest breakthrough for me was when I had to buy a house and they wanted 200,000 to deposit. And I thought, let me call these guys for it because it's still your money, right? And in 3 days, it was in my account. Then I knew, okay. I think growing up as a black person in a township, there's a lot that I was not exposed to.
Yeah.
Someone should have sat me down and told me financial discipline works this good.
I like what you've just said. Someone should have told me.
Someone should have told me. It's your book.
I wish someone had told me. Yeah, and
I ended up there.
truly, I also wish someone had told us from the time we were young to say, if you were to just put 500 rands, 1,000 rands,
It goes a long
automate
way.
it, in 20 years, you have
It goes
more
a long
than
way.
$1 million. Yeah.
It goes a long way. So these are the 3 key pillars. Number 1, earn how to earn,
Yeah.
manage,
Yeah.
and then master how to multiply, which is get into the world of investment. So those 3, like I said, it's things that people know, but it's words that people just know about, but they never ask themselves that, am I doing it? Am I good at it? And over time, is my earnings increasing? Are my earnings increasing?
Yeah.
Over time, is my allocation efficient enough? I have my savings runway, and over time, I'm building an investment base.
Right. Okay. No, thanks for that wisdom that you've just shared with us. I mean, to say, we have to start early and automate, make sure that you set that debit order for 1,000 rand. That goes off, and forget about that money, and forget that you've actually put money away. If you every morning, I used to have this friend, she was very good at investing, but she was what that money archetype we call the penny pincher. She loved looking at her money every day, and it's a temptation, because the more you open every day, you're thinking, oh, I've got so many stocks, I've got so much. Every time you have a problem, the first place you'll go to
The stocks.
is the stocks. So invest that money, forget that it exists, and you'll be amazed when you really do need it, what the money will have grown to. I tell the story that my daughter, when she was doing matric, the guys that went to class with her, the cars that they were driving, and I would look at these kids, and I asked one of the moms, I said, my goodness, your son drives such a beautiful Merc. It's even better than mine. She said, no, when he was born, the first thing we did was to open an investment account.
Those
for
lessons,
him.
ne?
Eh?
They hurt those lessons when you hear and you never did it.
Eish. And she said, we put away money, and when he turned 18, we bought him a house, we bought him this car. He's got money for university. And you know what I did, Ntando? I thought, okay, now that I have learned this, how do I pay it forward? So what I do now, anyone that is in my circle that has a small child, when it's their birthday, when they say it's my daughter's birthday, whatever, they invite me to the party, I come empty-handed, and I ask them, do you have an investment account for the child?
Wow.
Open an investment account, I'll contribute my gift in there. Because we have to start teaching them.
That's beautiful.
We have to start doing that, so that, even those people who were not thinking about it can start doing it for their kids. Otherwise, they'll be like us. Then what is the point of us having learned and walked this journey if we're not going to share these lessons?
That's a powerful one,
Yeah.
ma. I'm gonna steal this one.
Yeah,
for
steal it.
birthday for birthday celebrations.
Yeah.
Ask people, can we just not do cakes and just do investments?
They can do cakes if they can
No,
afford it,
it's
but
a joke.
yeah.
It lands nicer if we
You
say
know how people will get upset. Okay, as we bring our discussion to a close,
Yeah.
ne? In your book, and as we were talking, actually, you spoke about the fact that, you can either invest, but if you have debt, focus on your debt because your debt has got higher interest and your investments more or less give you lesser than that. Now, I want us to just talk to people about debt. And in your book, you talk about those violations that lead us to bankruptcy and poverty. I want us to just touch on 3 as a teaser, because I want people to go and buy your book and read about the rest. You talk about the debt trap, right? Let me see. You say, I like it. You say the kiss of death. You talk about the kiss of debt. That debt has got a kiss, and that those who love debt, without the art and the skill of using it, will surely pay the price. What is it about debt that you can share? 3 things that you talk about in the book about debt that people should be aware of and avoid.
I'll talk to that, ne? But as you read and the way you're reading that statement, those who love it without the art of knowing how to use it will pay the price. I like the middle part because it's to say debt is not a bad thing, it's a tool. And there are people that are really smart and good at using it, and they use it well. The problem, though, is we see some people who are good at using it, and it creates, again, that overconfidence to say, I can get the debt as well. I am also that person, and not understand how that person thinks and how that person allocates that debt. Now, here's then why people pay the price. Number one, if I go and take debt 100,000 rands right now, which happened to me actually. I got a credit card approval, and when things were moving nicely, and the bank was in an app, 200,000.
Hey.
We can give you. Do you accept?
Yes.
And then I say, oh, you don't do that. I grew up a customer. You don't put 200 and say, do you want it?
Of course.
I didn't read terms, nothing. Yes, accept. It was in like 5 minutes available. And then literally 2 months later, it was all gone. And I was wondering, where did it go?
Yeah. Because when they give you 200,000 as credit, we don't see it as a credit limit. We see it as a target. Uti, how soon can I finish this 200,000? Yeah.
And I had to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And once you have 200 available, all the stuff you've always wanted flashes right before your eyes. And all the people you wanted to show off to, right? You kind of remember them.
That money personality
You see?
comes alive.
So the big problem with debt and why I fight it for so many people is when that money became available, what you have to ask yourself is, especially if you're in debt, that's a good question to ask yourself. Did I allocate this debt to investment or did I allocate it to consumption? If I allocated it to investment, the debt, whatever I bought, is going to pay the debt, not me. If I allocated it to consumption, I'm the one fully responsible to pay it. And consumption looks like taking debt for clothes, taking debt for food, taking debt for furniture, taking debt for a lot of stuff.
For lobola.
For lobola, wedding, all of that. That's all consumption. Investment looks like buying an asset that's going to generate revenue. Buying an asset that's saving me expenses in my business. Investments look at buying something that I know once it's there, there's a system around it for it to make money and it's going to pay me back. Let's say I need to pay the bank back 5,000 a month. That thing pays me 6, 7, 10,000 a month that I bought. It could be a house, it could be an Uber car, it could be anything. But you took debt to invest in something that will pay the debt back.
Right.
It's not a problem even if there's a little shortfall and you're topping up. That's a different conversation. It's not even a problem because you're building equity on the investment, right? But for many people, the kiss of death is we love debt so much and we get anchored on which is the second violation actually, with the anchor being anchored on a list price. We love it so much and we ignore the fact that now you have to pay back because you took debt for consumption, one, and because you're living your life that way, you are living an expensive life. And you're going to look back at how much you earned and what you bought and realize one thing, that the things that I bought are for 10 million. I spent 10 million. They were worth 5 million. Because the car was 300, I paid 600. I bought another one, which was, I paid 800 because it was listed at 400. And we don't see that every time you take on debt, you are anchored, your mind remembers what the least price was. If I buy a fridge and it's 20,000, my mind remembers 20, not what I paid. What I paid was 35.
Yeah.
Because debt has children. The car was 500.
Debt has children.
It's got children. The car was 500 and I only remember 500, which is why when I sell the car, I don't mind selling for 200-300, and because in my mind I'm losing 200 because the car depreciated, and I don't realize that I didn't pay 500, I paid $1 million.
Right.
So if I paid for 300, I'm losing. If I sell it for 300, I've lost 700,000 of liquidity, and many people are living their lives that way, expensive lives, because they're anchored on list price, which is the price that you think the item was worth, and you have a blind spot to what you're actually paying. The worst example of this then becomes people not proactively fixing things like their credit scores, financial discipline, financial prudence that makes debt less costly for you in the long term. And you don't manage payments, you don't manage how you engage with debt in general, and your credit score is bad. So which means every time you take on debt for anything, it's always more expensive than the next person next to you, because you have not taken the time to clean up your finances. And people end up living very expensive lives because of that. It's a lot.
Sure, it's a lot, eh? Yeah. Sure. Ntando has said a mouthful, Bahesu. I mean, that line about debt having a kiss of death, and those who love it without the skills and the knowledge will pay the price. I think for me, that's my biggest takeaway, to say there is always good debt, which is debt that, gives you assets that grow over time. But the bad debt is when you use debt for consumption, and then you will pay the price. And of course, debt has got children. I'm going to steal that one and use it everywhere I go.
You are most welcome.
I think we've spoken about so much today. There are so many wisdom nuggets that have been shared, and I don't want us to overload you, overfeed you. Just now you'll get constipated from all these
With knowledge.
wisdom nuggets that we've shared. I think, Ntando, you'll come back and we'll go through some of the more of the wisdom nuggets that are in here. And I also want us to talk in the next episode about, what you did to get you out of debt,
That would be nice.
Yeah,
That would be
your
nice.
the talk that you do about the 10,
Yeah.
principles that you used. But for today, I think I just want to say thank you for sharing these wisdom nuggets with us. Any last word of wisdom to our viewers?
So I spoke about the three in the system, and there's two that are important support pillars. I will leave with just what they are, so that next time when we talk about this, because they are part of how I got out.
Yeah.
One, financial education.
Which is what we do here.
Which is what we do. It is so important and very close to my heart. It became part of my mission to write the book, to do the podcast, because I know the power that knowledge has if you apply it, and the right kind of information if it's applied. And the second one, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And the second one is self-mastery, personal transformation.
Yeah.
The biggest mountain when you hit rock bottom is not even the tactics, because I can come and share these tactics. At some point, the podcast will stop and you have to act. If you can't conquer you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So the biggest mountain you're facing is looking at you right in the mirror. And if you can't get up and work, if you can't get up and read, if you can't find the inspiration to do something about it, nothing is changing in your life.
Yeah.
And many people, unfortunately, because of that state, what I say is when you are desperate and broke, it introduces you to a version of yourself that you didn't know is possible.
Yeah.
You start to discover who you are under real pressure. And for many people, it's not a kind person. It's not a nice person to be around. It's not a nice person to work with. It's not a person anyone wants to hire. You start to realize that this is who I am when I lose everything. And that's the biggest fight you have.
Yeah.
The fight against that version of yourself. Can you conquer that version of yourself and become who you want to be and who the market needs you to be?
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm not even going to repeat what you said because I'm tempted to sing that song by Michael Jackson. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Well, where do we get your book?
I'll give you my website. It's easy to get. Ntandomasego.com.
Yeah.
Actually, you should put it ntandomasego.com.
Ntandomasego.com.
I
That's
should
where.
put it on my podcast. I've just focused on building the platform and less on selling anything.
Everybody, go to ntandomasego.com and get the book because, wow, there's so much wisdom there. Well, that's the end of the session for today. Thank you for watching. Please share this podcast with other people because there are so many wisdom nuggets that we've shared today. Until next time, thank you for watching.